And welcome to News Today. My name is Ghanian-Nigerian. Coming up, Ghana National Fire Service personnel yet to be insured despite the danger they are exposed to in the line of duty. Meanwhile, statistics as of October 2013 shows a total of 4,171 fire cases recorded nationwide. Ahead in business, Water River Authority is expected to save over $500 million a year when their Tuabo gas processing plants start supplying lean gas. On the foreign front, regional African leaders are meeting in Kenya Friday in an effort to make progress on a peace deal in South Sudan. Stay with me over the next hour as I bring you details of these stories and plenty more in a moment. Don't go away. Right, let's move on to our first story. And having your home overlooking the ocean usually comes with a very great feel, a prestige reserved for just a few who can afford. But the picture is radically different from Ghana's coastline, where most of the homes cost next to nothing. The beaches are so filthy, you wouldn't want to own a home there. Or as Joynews' Adelaide Arthur reports, you have to live with a constant threat of tidal waves sweeping your home away.
For several minutes, I watched in shock as the waves hit the foundations of several buildings along the shore. The sea has already claimed several of the buildings, from Glefe through New Akweteman to Begbese. This is New Akweteman near Glefe, where residents here are facing the greatest challenge of their lives. Their buildings are being threatened by the sea. Several of the buildings have already been washed away. But though it's life-threatening, what is actually keeping these residents here is the means to afford a better place for themselves. Madam Patience Vomatu has been living here with her family for the past 15 years.
From the beginning, this is not how the situation is. The sea was far away, some miles away, and even people have their buildings here, and we also got here. During those times, many people are here. You can see those are foundations there, broken foundations, many people. And even where the people are dragging these nets, they are all houses. The sand was so high that you climb the sand before getting to the sea. But now the sea have taken all those lands. It's by the grace of God that we are still here.
So basically you are saying you are protecting your building with these sand blocks?
Yes.
Yeah, so how long have these sand blocks been here?
It's almost 5 to 6 years now.
But
the sea used to come and remove it. We buy plenty sacks. The sea will come and remove all.
This is obviously life-threatening because you never know when you'll be indoors and then the sea will take over your building. And you live here with your family. Aren't you afraid? Aren't you scared?
We are scared. We are always scared. And we are preparing to get the land. Only things are not going well. That's why.
Last year, severe tidal waves destroyed at least 100 homes, according to the assemblyman of the area, Emmanuel Boyo.
It has been a major problem within the area because from June, July, August, that's where the tidal wave strikes. And whenever it strikes, that's why in the night, people used to get in touch of serious problem. And though nobody dies, but since the people used to be astray, the artists will spoil mattress, TV, and then the houses, demolition and all those things. So we are also putting things in place to write report, and then so if the assembly will get some place for them to relocate them from the area.
Someone actually made the allegation that it is not the sea that is coming to the people, it's rather the people who went ahead to build closer to the sea because there was a vast land, about 100 meters, that was supposed to be left between the sea and the immediate houses, but people actually went there to build houses close to the sea. Is it true? If you've been living there for quite some time now, is this allegation true?
It's true. whenever they are even building and you go to them to stop building, and they will say, why are you stopping them? And they'll continue to be building. Some people even will be building in the night to get their home to sleep in. And it is one of the major problems we are facing.
He says residents are also in the habit of winning sand along the shore, an act that enables the sea to come closer to the settlements. Until the interventions materialize, however, the residents will continue to live with a threat rather than prestige that would usually come with owning a beachfront property.
Now, the Ghana National Fire Service personnel is yet to be insured despite the danger they exposed to when combating fires. Meanwhile, statistics as at October 2013 shows a total of 4,171 fire cases were recorded nationwide, while 65 persons were killed and another 44 injured. Public Relations Officer of the Ghana National Fire Service, Prince Billian Aglate, is urging homeowners to procure smoke detectors to aid them quickly discover fire outbreaks.
It will remain the same with the insurance that we have. It is those that we individually, we are contributing to that to ensure that at least there is something there for us. If it comes to firefighting, there are a lot of hazards.
Absolutely.
Day in, day out, we are exposed to chemical fumes, poisonous, atmosphere. The heat itself is another thing to talk of. There are certain gases when you take it quickly into your lungs. Is destroying those systems, and so we need to ensure that properly that the firemen have at least a permanent and working insurance that could assist them. Because during firefighting, several of them get injured. Even some of them died. So when we at least have a system where just after the firefighting, we even have a hospital that we can walk in there to be checked. We check our system to ensure that maybe probably inhalation of chemical fumes or poisonous gases, the system is purged, and those other things. You are sick, you are quickly taken to hospital and you are treated. Today, I remember a few times that even the firemen were en route to fire, or emergency, and they had an accident. They were rushed to hospitals and they were not treated until the regional commander have to get in there and give out money before they were treated. We are asking that people, as much as we are sending people into the premises to educate people, to ensure that people are trained, property owners should also contribute their quota and to ensure that they open up for the safety educators that come in to educate people. You need to have early detection and warning system that in your home. That is
like
the smoke detector. It's not expensive. It is easy to be fix yourself. You buy, you put it in there. Such a thing have prevented what could have turned out to be disaster in people's home. People who have even been dead. In some of these fires if they were not to have a smoke detector. So just have those things. There are people that they sleep, and when the unexpected happen, they are not even able to wake up and to know. But if you have a smoke detector, you have an extinguisher. Every big fire starts with something small. So if you have an extinguisher in your room or in your house and the unexpected happens, you are able to see it in time. You can use the extinguisher to call the fire service. We are always ready to assist you, but there are some of these communities that we do not have fire station in. We have identified areas where we should even open up about 13 more fire stations in Greater Accra alone. But getting the areas, getting a space to have those things are becoming difficult. So if you call fire service, and it will take some time before we will get there, depending upon where you are calling from, especially when you do not have a fire station in that community, and we have to travel from one place. We have to break a traffic where the recalcitrant driver will also be there, will not like to give way. So when you have an extinguisher in your home, then the fire starts as something small, you will be able to use it.
Care providers in the Ashanti region are demanding the immediate suspension of the health insurance capitation after the scheme had been piloted in the region for 2 years. Missions, private and even government hospitals are saying that the insurance payment system is paralyzing the operations and the quality of care. Kumasi Metropolitan Health Director Dr. Kwesi Ewuzi Yeboah labeled the capitation as neither beneficial to the facilities nor the patients. Dr. Ewuzi Yeboah stated that while their counterparts in 9 other regions received 7 cedis for services, they were getting a paltry 1 cedi, 30% per patient a month. Joining us over the telephone is Selom Adonu, his communications manager for the National Health Insurance Authority. Hello, Selom.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Merry Christmas.
Many happy returns.
Selom, I'm sure this has come to your notice. What's the authorities, response to this?
Well, regarding the capitation provider payment method, the authority process of rolling out the capitation to other parts of the country. But what is that it is not just a one-day thing that, okay, so today and so tomorrow it's rolling out. It has to do with, number one, our own internal publics, our scheme officers at the district level, at the regional level. They all have to understand what it is we are doing. After that, then you move on to others or health facilities in those regions you want to roll out in. And you sensitize them, you educate them, take them through the software that they will use. And all these things take time. When you are done with all these, then you start, on the soft side, start sensitizing the public itself, because people have to choose providers. And so you explain to them what choosing the providers is, sort of things, before you tell them that capitation starts at this time. And so we are in the process of doing all that. It is not as if capitation is a bad thing. It is not a bad thing at all. Indeed, if for anything at all, it is to make the subscriber closer to the health facility. Because reports we get from Ashanti is that now medical facilities or providers call their people and ensure that they are fine, because their monies used in taking care of them are given to the providers, ahead of the beginning of the month, so the provider can plan to other things. What it means is that the provider also has a duty to ensure that the people who are enrolled with the provider's facility always have their NHIS cards active. So what the provider does, the provider calls them up because they have their numbers and ensures that they are always fine, their cards are active, etc. So it's a way of helping the National Health Insurance Scheme and also helping the providers themselves and helping the subscribers. So the picture, unfortunately, is being painted as if, capitation is a bad thing, it's a monster, and it's in Ashanti region to destroy. It is not the case. And the other point is that why start a pilot with Ashanti region? And the other point is that everywhere you start, people will ask, why start with us? We must certainly start at a point. Of course, they have a case as in saying that the pilot has extended beyond the stipulated time. That is true, but it's also because of the fact that, we have to get a lot of things going before we start the full-scale rollout. So indeed, this is a phased implementation. We are continuing with it, and then we roll out to other parts of the country. There'll be a big stakeholder meeting which will be held, sometime, this quarter, which will bring together all the stakeholders and, pronounce that this number of regions, about 3 regions, will be added to Ashanti, and then over time, other regions will be added until the whole country is covered. So capitation, in conclusion, is just one of the 3 payment mechanisms that the NHIS is using. So why don't we have problems with the 2, but we only appear to be having problems with capitation, which actually covers a very small part of the benefit package? Only OPD cases, and OPD cases, if you know, are cases which normally can be treated and people can be taken home. If admitted, you are not billed, or you don't bill under capitation. You bill under another payment mechanism, which we call the diagnosis-related grouping, the GDRG, or the fee for service. So capitation really is just a slim thing, and their concern is that it is kept too long and it's not been taken to other parts of the country.
And another of the concerns is also the fact that, because of the capitation, they are being paid 1 cedi, 30% pesos per patient a month.
But did they also talk about the fact that when you are giving the money at the beginning of the month, whether the patient comes or not, that money is still for you? You see, there are 2 sides to it. Whether the patient attends hospital or not that month, that money is a constant. It will be given to you, provided the person's card is active. That money will be given to you. They didn't talk about that because that appears to favor them. So it is a give and take affair. And what we must also understand is that the National Health Insurance Authority will not bring a system that will undermine its own efforts and its own achievements over the years. We can only bring things which will make the system better. So we just hope that they indulge with us. So we see this process, to its logical conclusion. It is something which government or the Ministry of Health has said should be done, and it's something we are doing. And we just have to engage more often with our stakeholders in Ashanti, so we are all on the same thing. And that is what we are actually doing.
There have been reports that a nationwide capitation would roll out sometime January 2014. How true is that?
Well, I'm unable to put a time to it because it is not my place. As I stated earlier, there'll be a big stakeholder meeting, and I'm sure the health minister will pronounce, those details at that particular forum. So, yes, all I can say is that the rollout will happen. It will come after the stakeholder engagement. So a lot of things could happen at that stakeholder meeting. We may have to tweak it a bit because it's a pilot. Pilot means you are just testing it to see how it works and see what you can improve, what you can take out, what you can add. So after all these, the review and everything is ready, we will make all those things public at the stakeholder engagement, which will come very soon.
Just before I let you go, since we've already started reviewing the pilot, what would you say are some of the few tweaks you make to the rollout itself?
For example, when capitation started in Ashanti as a pilot, medicines were part of the capitation basket, which meant that you gave medicines to the people from the capitated amount. One of the tweaks is that we've taken medicines out now, so now medicines is billed differently under the fee-for-service. For example, the maternal care we ran was part of the capitation basket. One of the tweaks and one of the adjustments we've made, the trade-offs, is that we've taken that also away. Specialist OPD cases were part of it. One of it is that we've taken those ones away and we build them under the GDRG system. So we've made a lot of concessions, a lot of trade-offs. So the picture should not be painted as if that we are just adamant to adjustments. No, we've made a lot of adjustments, and we hope to engage more so we ensure that the system works seamlessly.
Thank you very much, Salam. Salam Adonu is Corporate Communications Manager for the National Health Insurance Authority. Move on to some other stories, and we'll stay on health. And the president of the Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana, pharmacist James Ohiminche, has called for the interdiction of the former head of the Food and Drugs Authority over the handling of the tobacco issue. I'm sure you recall that. Speaking to Joynews after the committee set up to look into the FDA tobacco saga presented its report on Monday, James Ohiminche said the FDA cannot and has not lived up to its mandate to ensure protection of consumers, but only interested in utilizing the taxpayers' money to conduct operations to destroy products when it has failed to ensure the right thing is done.
Honorable Minister for Health is working strictly in accordance with the Public Health Act 2012, Act 851, by ordering the re-exportation of certain unregistered medicines, imported into the country. I agree with the Honorable Minister and then the chairman of the committee, the Honorable Deputy Minister. I think that the former CEO of the FDA did not allow the Public Health Act to work. Right, Section 118, subsection 1 is very clear. Is that FDA officials always twist the law because of conflict of interest to allow large consignments of unregistered medicine to be cleared from the ports and distributed across the country. Thereafter, they use state resources to go around to seize and destroy these same medicines. That the former CEO and other officials of the FDA who were involved in the nationwide seizure and destruction of unregistered medicines must be interrogated. The law is very clear. If the product has not been registered, please do not let the product to be cleared from the ports. Even without the LI, I support the Honorable Minister. The LI is very important. But even without that, the law is very clear. Yes, Nana, see, the responsibility of the Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana is to ensure that the good people of Ghana have access to quality, safe, efficacious, and affordable medicines. that is the responsibility of the Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana. And therefore, the Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana will support any attempt to ensure, that we get this.
Your favorite local drink, like mash kinky, Burkina, and Lamunji, may be very delicious. But have you wondered for a moment the conditions under which these drinks are prepared before they get to the market? In the following report, Yafuso Ajemfi takes a look at the health implications of uncertified local drinks and how the public can be prevented from eating just anything.
From streets to streets, traffic to traffic, you would find many young women and men selling favorite Ghanaian local drinks including Burkina, iced kinky, ginger drink and asana. Usually in small basins filled with ice blocks, hawkers walk through the various traffic intersections to hawk their wares.
Pacho me kenke no me blend it, me kotoda kono na mabubu, na me dinkati afra, na ma blend wo machines. I share the na ma koto bottles, na me amashishe. Na say no almost bottles no, yes is our form. And to see no more short bottles na maye, amaye koto fatum, na ye de. The
modern Ghanaian accept to see these drinks in a packaged bottle for sale under the hot scorching sun. And trust me, these drinks come as a welcome relief to patrons, mainly to quench their thirst as they commute in vehicles or on foot from one part of the city to the other. But as much as these persons are trying to make a living off the streets of Accra, the critical question perhaps many would have to ask before patronizing such drinks is how safe they are. I chanced upon this ice kinky bottled, prepared and sealed nicely. The ingredient for the preparation of this delicacy is boldly displayed here. It includes ice kinky, sugar, water, cocoa powder and milk. To the ordinary consumer, the packaging of this product is enough for patronage, but a critical look on the labeling and the packaging reveals the absence of the Food and Drugs Board certification. And for the actual preparation of the products, none can tell, but its sweetness and yummy taste can hardly be overlooked.
News Today, I'll be right back. Thank you very much for staying on. The Volta River Authority is expected to save over $500 million a year when the Atuabo gas processing plant starts supplying lean gas to the authority for electricity generation. This was disclosed by the CEO of the Ghana Gas Company, Dr. George Sipayanki, when members of the Standing Committee of the Western Regional House of Chiefs visited the Atuabo gas project site.
Members of the Traditional Council were there to acquaint themselves with the level of work. The Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Gas Company told the chiefs the VRA currently spends $3 million a day using fuel to generate electricity. He said when the Atuabo gas processing plant comes on stream next year, the VRA would spend only $1.5 million a day using gas for power generation, saving $45 million a month and over $500 million a year. Work on the project is about 79% complete, and the gas processing plant would start receiving raw gas from the Jubilee oil fields for test run and eventual commissioning in April 2014. The president of the Western Regional House of Chiefs, Osajefo Dr. Kwamina Enimel, commended the management of the Ghana Gas Company for judicious use of resources for execution of the project. He noted that there had been tremendous improvement since the committee visited the project site last year and pledged the cooperation of the chiefs to ensure timely completion. The Ghana Gas project is expected to boost the economy of Western Region when completed.
Meanwhile, the Public Procurement Authority has commended the Ghana Gas Company for judicious utilization of funds approved by the authority in executing the gas project. The board chairman, Commodore retired Stephen Obimpe, who led some board and management members of the PPA to the project, expressed satisfaction with it.
The delegation, which also included the Chief Executive Officer of the authority, Samuel Salas-Mensah, were later taken on a tour of the facility at a briefing by authorities of the Ghana Gas Company on progress of work. The board chairman of the Public Procurement Authority, Commodore Steve Obimpe, in his remarks, said the authority approved the request made by the Ghana Gas Company on sole sourcing method instead of national competitive bidding due to the importance attached to the gas project. He added the authority took into consideration the fact that the completion of the project would resolve the country's energy challenges. Hence, the agency attached to the approval of the Ghana Gas Company request. He said the authority adhered strictly to the guidelines set out in the Public Procurement Act 2003-663 in approving the request, adding that the management of Ghana Gas Company had given value for money by ensuring efficient delivery. Commodore Bimpe said the authority was impressed with progress of work.
If we had insisted that every procurement should go by the national competitive bidding, I don't think that we'll be able to see the structures that we are seeing here today. We are told that what has gone underground is even more than what we are seeing over here.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Gas Company, Dr. George Sipayanki, said all the major components of the gas infrastructure development project had been installed. He estimated completion of work at 78.73% and assured Ghanaians that the gas processing plant would come on stream by April next year. Dr. Yankee mentioned some vital equipment and facilities installed so far, as a 111-kilometer pipeline from Atuabo to the Abuaze thermal plant, a 58-kilometer pipeline from the Jubilee oil field to the gas processing plant at Atuabo, a central control room, and 3 LPG tanks. Other facilities include water treatment plant, reception facility area, regulatory and metering stations, LPG recovery area, flare KO drum, gas substations, and 2 power plants that would generate 500 megawatts of power for internal operations. He said when the gas processing plant starts operation, it will produce 120 million standard cubic feet of gas per day, which would help the country to generate sufficient power for domestic consumption.
They have been so kind, cooperating, accommodating, and because of their support, we now can see what we have been able to achieve. Without them, without their cooperation and understanding, we would have gotten to where we are now. And I think that is a major contribution by the Public Procurement Authority to solving our power crisis. And I'm very grateful to them. And I believe that as we continue with the project, it will still be coming to them. And I hope that they will continue to give us the same support that you've enjoyed over the time.
The Yoruba Youth Association in Ghana is calling for peaceful coexistence between Ghanaians and Nigerian business operators. The call comes from a tension between local spare parts dealers at Swami Maxine and Nigerian traders who are accused of illegally engaging in retail trade. Mahmoud Mohammed Chinudi reports.
The association is urging the two groups to explore lawful ways of resolving the matter. The secretary of the association, Kafayat Omoniyin, told Joynews leaders of the Nigerian community in Ghana are involved in a discussion and believes the long-standing relationship between Ghana and Nigeria should be protected in the spirit of sub-regional integration.
The relationship between Ghanaian businessmen and Nigerian businessmen today is going rough. It's not as smooth as it used to be from the beginning. We used to know these two countries as partners. But now, we're having a lot of problems in our businesses. So I think it's not going smooth, to be sincere.
The chairman of the association, Abdullahi Sani Thomas, called on the Nigerians to sustain the long-existing unity between them and their Ghanaian business partners.
Trying our best. We are trying to be talk to our people about the youth, so that we are trying to talk to them, so that the way and manner some people are doing, so that they are creating tension between the Ghana and the Nigeria. But we are trying to bring them back, that they should know that at least we are all the same ECOWAS community, this thing. So we have to live with them peacefully and do the right thing at the right time.
The Yoruba Youth Association was formed in 2000 to promote peace and unity among the Nigerian community in Ghana.
Over the telephone now is an Associate Director of the Center for Regional Integration in Africa, Dr. Vladimir Enchi Danso. Thank you very much, Dr. Vladimir, for joining us on News Today.
You're very welcome.
And Merry Christmas.
Many happy returns.
Unfortunately, we can't say same for South Sudan, but East African regional leaders have met President Kiir, and today they are going to meet in Nairobi. What are expectations of this?
Well, it is to be expected that somebody has to intervene in the situation over there. It's so volatile, but I think we all have to blame ourselves for not putting in much effort after the secession to help build that kind of trust among the tribes, because they only came together just for the secession, and after that we thought it was hooray. So we all expect that something good may come out of it. But I have a big doubt. See, the point is tribal-based and personality-based. And until the leadership is made to understand the issues and relay it back to their followers, it will be very difficult to lay tools. They fought well over a quarter of a century, at times against each other, at times together. And so it's a historical thing, and lots of knots have to be untwined. If we are unable to do this, it will be just a facial kind of thing, and the leaders will chuckle glasses, drink champagne, and sign agreements, but the real issues underneath must have not been resolved.
The widow of late rebel leader John Garang says President Kiir seems not to be taking advice and is surrounded by people seeking their own interest. And if the best way is to get these two people, because it's ethnic based, to talk and understand the issues at hand, what would be the best way of going about this?
Well, one of the best ways is what they've started. Of course, there are geopolitical interests too. You know, there are a lot of thousands of Kenyans in South Sudan, as much as Ethiopians, and they all have an interest also over there. So they must see to it that there is some kind of stability and sanity. So one of the things they've started, this talk is the Jojo is better, is one way or the other. But the other thing is to make sure that the UN goes in and gets a ceasefire. That's very important, because the ordinary people fighting against each other, the Nuers against the other tribes, I mean, it's something which is very historical. As I said, the SPLA of old started the war based on this kind of concept. Remember, Darfur is just close by, and Darfurians are also angry. And it is only the presence of the UN that has created that buffer. Other than that, the Darfurians are also wanting to help part of the South to get Darfur also seceding. So it's a complex thing over there. That's why I'm saying that we need to get to the ground and untwine a lot of the historical problems that have been there ever since Garang and others started their problem.
Meanwhile, more help is coming in the form of troops. We have China sending in envoys. How crucial is this?
Well, it's very crucial. Look, the situation over there is just very volatile. If you are a follower of the wars over there from the 50s, you would realize that the tribes over there, they hate each other, but what kept them together was the northern hegemony, one, and they came together to overthrow the northern hegemony, and now it is time to settle scores. Who gets what? And I think the personality clash also didn't work well. If the president and the vice president got on well, then the tribal things would have been killed. But they never got on. And that is the problem. You see that they are all fighting for control over the resources in those northern regions. And it means that it is selfishness and not thinking about rebuilding a fragile nation like South Sudan.
One would also say that the continent has seen a fair share of conflicts as this, but it seems as though we haven't been able to pick lessons on how to deal with these situations before they turn, they get out of hand. So what's your take on that?
Because you are right, but precisely because the AU peace and security architecture is only a paper kind of thing. There is so much fanfare about it. Yes, long ago we needed to have established this standby forces. We haven't done that. We are always still, looking for Europe to sponsor us left, right, center. We have paid lip service to this standby force kind of concept. That's number one. Number two, as soon as we rush people to elections, we say hooray, and we think the so-called democracy brings about stability. Wrong. The fact that you rush people to elections and they elect their leaders doesn't mean that they can build a nation. Nation building or state building is quite a completely different ball game. It takes a lot. It doesn't take those tenets of democracy that we have alluded to ourselves just to build a state. Southern Sudan really needed to build institutions, to build bridges, to build trust, to put the tribes together. The idea of moving yourself as a Nuer to become a South Sudanese was more important than electing Kir or somebody else as the leader. So this thing hasn't gone down well with, first and foremost, the AU and then the whole of the international community. As soon as there is some chaos, we rush in, we put the people together, ballot box, and we say hooray. No. And that's why I said after the secession, all of us, the AU and the international community, especially through the UN, should have helped through personnel to really build the nation gradually. We didn't do that.
We'll leave it here for now. Thank you very much once again, Vladimir. Dr. Vladimir Enchi-Danso is Associate Director at the Center for Regional Integration. That's it for foreign news. A recap of our headlines again. And Ghana National Fire Service personnel are yet to be insured despite the danger they are exposed to in the line of duty. Meanwhile, statistics as of October 2013 shows a total of 4,171 fire cases recorded nationwide. Volta River Authority is expected to save over $500 million a year when the Chiabo gas processing plant starts supplying lean gas to the authority. That'll be all for the hour. Many thanks for staying through. My name is Kimini Nyamani Amano. There's more news on myjoyonline.com. Enjoy the rest of the festive season. Goodbye for now.